how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hello. Hi. So today's video topic is a little bit more intense. After doing my video on the 17 diapers mom, I really sort of dove back into family channels and dove back into my passion for basically abolishing them. Got really reignited by that video basically, and as a result of that video I started looking into a lot of the newer laws that are up for being passed right now in ways to protect children on social media, and I did just want to talk about those laws really quickly, give sort of a brief rundown of what I think of them and how I basically think they're not doing enough. It can be kind of interesting to talk about the laws that are in place currently and also things that we could potentially do as just everyday viewers of this content. So if you're interested in that, keep watching. Now, I do just want to start the video by saying this is definitely a new normal. Family home videos and pictures used to be just for your family. They were not for social media or for strangers to see. And even now, most people post their family on their private Facebook or Instagram accounts. We don't really see children in everyday life being used for content, but children actually started being used for content way back in 1997 when blogs were created. Blogging community became really, really popular, specifically for parents to kind of talk about just parenting struggles, parenting their kids, all of those types of things. And I think it was a real sense of community around parenting that hadn't been a thing before. Before, I think parenting was definitely something that people didn't really talk about as much. It was kind of taboo to talk about the struggles of being a parent. Parent blogging actually made it much more acceptable to talk about your children online, made it much more acceptable to be discussing sort of the trials and tribulations of what being a parent means. And this seemed to start with good intentions and as a way to sort of have this sense of community. But because the internet is the internet, this quickly turned bad and it led to a lot of parent shaming, parents monetizing their children on their blogs using sponsors, and just in general jeopardized the safety of a lot of the children that were the topics of these blogs. We have surpassed sort of the idea that blogging and vlogging about your family is something that you do as a way to build a sense of community, and now it is much more about the monetary gain that you can get from monetizing your children and less about building an actual community around parenting. It is now a multi-million-dollar industry with the explicit point to profit and exploit children. And there are now laws that are being set up and being set in place so that way you can actually do something about it. So let's talk about the laws. The good news is that there are a number of laws and bills that are being put into place in the United States currently to help this situation. The bad news is they're just not comprehensive enough for any actual protection of children. The biggest one that just got the most sort of attention, that was a bill from California that was put up that was actually Demi Lovato was like helping with it. It had nothing to do with child stars and everything to do with internet stars, so I don't know why they didn't get like a former internet famous kid to do this, but California is actually trying. In California, we already have the Coogan Act, which is a bill that was passed in 1939 as a response to Jackie Coogan. Her parents basically she made millions and millions of dollars as a child actor and then turned 18 and had literally no money because her parents spent all of it. So the Coogan accounts were created so that way 30% of a child actor's income is set aside, so when they turn 18 they actually have some of the funds. I have a lot of thoughts about the Coogan accounts because I think number one, there's way too many workarounds around it. It's only a California based law, and in a couple of other states it's not a national law. So if you're a child actor in a state that does not have Coogan laws, you don't have a Coogan account. Like reality TV stars in the middle of nowhere, like Honey Boo Boo, it recently came out that her mom never put aside any money for her from all of her days on reality television. That child has been on reality television since she was, I think 6 years old, 7 years old when she was first on Toddlers and Tiara, and she's now 18 and has zero money to show for basically the lifetime of work that she put into this. Jeanette McCurdy was very honest about the fact that her mom never properly filed the paperwork for her Coogan account, so she never got 30% of her income. And also, let's just talk about with the Coogan law, 30% is way too fucking low for child actors to only be getting that amount of money. Minimum, it should be 50%. I have absolutely no idea why 70% of the income is supposed to go to the parents and only 30% to the child. I don't know who the fuck came up with that. I guess because it was 1939 and we haven't updated that bill really since then. So maybe there's some revision work that needs to be done. But anyway, it started with the Coogan account, which everybody knows about the Coogan law. Probably one of the biggest things I would make the argument for that's missing from the California Child Actors Bill, which is the Coogan law, probably one of the biggest things missing is that there is literally no emotional support built in for any of those children. There's nothing about how there needs to be emotional support on set for children. There's nothing about how children shouldn't be portraying super serious roles that can be mentally damaging to them because they don't understand them. There's nothing in there actually protecting the welfare of the child. The Coogan Act basically does a lot about money. And they also have certain hours that you're allowed to work on set as a child, but the hours you can work around that super easily. They just have a lot of Nickelodeon kids have come forward and said they literally just graduated high school early, and that was their way of getting around being able to work longer hours. 14, 15-year-olds that are working 13, 14-hour days, and it's just allowed because they've graduated high school technically. Absolute lunacy. Anyway, there's a lot of problems with the Coogan law, but this is kind of the law that people want to base influencer law around, which I understand that because from the outside, it looks at least better than what we have now. It's at least some regulation happening. And I think California tried to do this with the Child Influencer Act. So this was just enacted in October. It will be effective January 1st, 2025. And content creators who feature minors for at least 30% of their content must deposit 65% of that minor's gross earnings into a trust account for when they reach adulthood. It also says that child influencers are now in the same status as child performers, which is true. And marketers are those hiring influencers directly. So like people who do brand deals with these family channels in California, they're going to have to ensure that a Coogan account is set up so that 65% of those profits also go into the Coogan account. Now, this law is actually a massive head start in the direction we want to be moving in terms of exploiting children on social media. This means that in the state of California, starting January 1st, all children who are on social media and under the age of 18 and are featured in their parents' content do need to be compensated for that. And this is huge. Like, this is a very big deal. So that's California's law. That's their thing that they are doing. I want to talk about Illinois too, because Illinois actually has the most comprehensive children on social media laws that I've ever seen. They actually do a lot with this. So the Illinois Child Influencer Law went into effect on July 1st, 2024. The law says that 50% of earnings must be set aside for any children under the age of 16 that are present in online content. Again, it has to be put into a trust for the minor when they turn 18. If a child's name, image, or likeness is in any part of the video for over 30%, this must be enacted. And children also must be getting a minimum of 10 cents per view. So they must meet the threshold for compensation. And if parents don't do this, their children can then go on to sue them for punitive damages. It gives them reason to sue. A law that makes it acceptable for them to sue. Now, there are problems with these laws. This is the thing. So like Illinois, content created by a minor is not covered under this law. So a parent could have an account for a 15-year-old creating content, and they could be taking all of the revenue from that and just having their child. Like, you think of like Ryan's Toys Review, where that is kind of a child essentially running that account, but the parents are actually the ones running it. And that child would not be protected under this law. He would have no right to any of that content because it doesn't cover kids who post their own content. And again, these laws, while it is good that they're starting to make waves in sort of terms of compensation where kids should be compensated for this, these laws cover absolutely nothing in terms of the emotional side of having your entire life broadcasted like you're on the fucking Truman Show since you were born. Literally have families, the Ingram family, for example, I just found this out, made literal baby dolls of their brand new newborns and sold them for profit. Does that child get any of that profit? Does that child get their therapy paid for the rest of their life when they find out that their parents made life-size models, replicas of them as a baby, and sold them to strangers? Who's paying the therapy bills for the rest of that kid's fucking life? That's what I would like to see in these laws. There's nothing about the type of content you can and cannot post that includes children. So it does nothing for parents who continually exploit their children, like the fucking Norris Nuts family. Oh my God, I can't stand them. They literally posted a video a few years ago where it was like, my kids act like they're 21. There's nothing that's preventing parents from doing that type of content. There's nothing from exploiting the fuck out of their children. The Norris Nuts family, I could do a whole video on them too, and I might, because that's also crazy because the kids do all the fucking editing. There's nothing in this law about that. There's nothing about editing or amount of work done or anything to do with that. This is purely just gross income. Kids are now going to be getting a cut that in California and Illinois. If you're a child influencer who doesn't live in those states, which I can guarantee you family vloggers are about to flee California when this new law is enacted, guarantee it, we're going to see any LA influencers who live with their families and our family channels moving to like Tennessee or Texas or Utah. They're going to be moving to places where these types of laws are way less likely to be enacted. So the problem is we need a federal law, but we don't have any federal laws. Currently, the only federal laws that we have to protect children online are COPA and COPPA. Sounds confusing, but we have the Kids Off Social Media Act, which is COPPA, and then we have, which is a pending law that is not even an actual enacted law yet, and then we have the actual active law, COPPA, which is the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. And these laws are good laws to have. They focus on not having kids not having social media accounts until they are over the age of 13. They focus on online bullying and putting the accountability on these social media platforms instead of on the children for the actions that happen, which is fantastic. They also focus heavily on anti-marketing towards children, which is an absolutely huge problem, overseen by the FTC, which is huge. They help make sure that marketing is not just inherently advertised towards children and that they're not abusing social media policies to market to these kids. So these are all like good things that are happening. But my question is, if we're having all these laws to protect children who use the internet, why the fuck don't we have a federal law that helps children who are actively being used and exploited on the internet by their parents? That's also a massive issue that's happening right now. I think this is something, the reason it is so hard for people to wrap their heads around this is because it seems like such a dicey thing. Like, if I post my kid on my private Facebook, do I have to be paying them? No, that's not what this is. I don't think it's as dicey as people think it is. How this should work is if you are a child and your parents are being paid because you're in their content, then you should have to pay those children. And there should also be restrictions about how much the children could be in the video, how much time they are working, because they are working. If you're taking your family to Disneyland and you're vlogging all of that content, your child, congratulations, they're working at Disneyland. That's like, congratulations to you. Your kids are working. If they're filming, they're working. If they're editing your videos, Norris Nuts, they're fucking working. They're children who are being worked. And honestly, YouTube and TikTok should be at the forefront of helping create these laws, because it is sickening that they are the ones profiting off of this as well. Parents who profit off of YouTube, YouTube's profiting off of that too. YouTube is actively profiting off of the exploitation of children, as is TikTok, as is any other social media app where children are being exploited and posted. They are also directly profiting from those ad dollars. As much as the creator is making, YouTube takes 50% of that. So the creator and YouTube are making the same amount, and YouTube should be held responsible and should be doing significantly more than they are to protect these fucking kids. And the thing is, these laws are a good start, but that's all they are. They're a start. They don't address the dangers of child vlogging and the psychological effects it has. Sherry Frankie, who is Ruby Frankie's daughter, recently spoke to Utah legislators about her experience family vlogging, and I'm just going to leave a clip right here of it.
As children, we do not understand the consequences of filming our lives and posting it for the world to see. We cannot give consent to our parents to post our lives. In any other context, it is understood that children cannot give consent, but for some reason, people think family vlogging is different. I did not realize the impact that filming as a child would have on me now. My social media became flooded with rumors of having sexual relations with my own brother, to being called a baby birthing machine at the age of 13. All these things have stuck with me, and I will forever live between the ages of 13 to 17 in many of my viewers' minds.
This speech is so powerful, and it shows that these laws are just the beginning of what we need to be doing to protecting these kids. It should not be legal to show your child buying their first bra on social media. It should not be legal to show your child's first period. It shouldn't be legal to show them having a temper tantrum over something. It shouldn't be legal to make your home videos and your private information this fucking public. And honestly, parents are the ones who are supposed to be protecting their own kids. But as we have seen, parents don't do that. They don't protect their own children in these situations. They don't protect them from online bullying and harassment and mocking. It's not enough. These children need laws that make it illegal to share such private information, and that they should be protected online until they come of age. And they also should be illegal for parents to be overworking their children. You can't have a social media account legally in the United States until you turn 13, which is what this new law is trying to put into place. Why the fuck can your parents post about your 10th birthday party on their vlog channel? Why the fuck is that allowed? And here's the thing. I don't know the exact solution to this problem, right? I'm not a lawmaker. I don't know the exact ins and outs of how something like this should work. But something more needs to be happening. And the thing is, we as people do have a way to do that. We can call our congressmen, we can call our congresswomen, and we can tell them, hey, this is something that matters to me. This is something that needs to be worked on. Without actual on the ground change, nothing can come from this. And that's something I really want to work towards in 2025, is working on projects like this and trying to get support for getting actual bills passed at a federal level that protect kids from being put onto social media in such a dangerous way. It is dangerous. We're seeing the dangers. We are seeing these kids grow up, and we're getting the first round of kids who have grown up in this lifestyle, and none of them are saying anything positive about it. Every single child is saying they are traumatized from these experiences. This is a time-sensitive issue because every day more private information is being posted publicly about children online, more of their anonymity is being stripped away, and more children are losing their childhoods, essentially, because their parents are selfish and money hungry and want to monetize their babies. I understand that in the current political climate, there are like a billion things that are going wrong, and there are a million things that need to happen. I get that, but this should be something that's at the forefront because this is something that matters. At the end of the day, I feel like everybody should be able to agree that protecting children should be a #1 priority. And this is a gross, like, black hole when it comes to legality. There's just nothing that protects them. And even the laws that are put in place are not doing enough. They're not enough. The Coogan law is not enough. The emotional safety of children needs to be protected, and it can only be done by enforcing more of these laws and updating the laws we have to protect their emotional and physical wellness. Anyway. That's it for me. Let me know what you guys think about these laws. Let me know what you think about any of this. Do you guys have any ideas on how things like this can start being changed? I'm genuinely asking because it just pisses me off so much and is so sickening to me. And I just feel like there is so much that could be done that's just not happening for whatever reason. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. I love you guys so much. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're here watching. Thank you so much for being here. My social media and my social justice spotlight will be linked down below. And yeah, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!